Yo, what's up? It's Sun Zulu. You are now listening to File Under Hip Hop. Jai Boo. Yeah, so my brother is a DJ, and growing up, I always heard hip hop in the house. So groups like Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, Nas, Biggie, DITC, A Tribe Called Quest, Gangstar, Boot Camp Click, those were the kinds of sounds that I heard growing up. So by the time I saw like Jay-Z on BET, this is like 98, 99, I was already wanting to rhyme. School really provided me the opportunity through reading, when I read that book, it was because I was inspired by the fact that Mandela took control of his own story. Regardless of the outcome, he represented his identity, his family, and his people until the end. And hip-hop provides that tool, so it's important for us. Yeah, visiting South Africa was an eye-opener for me in many ways. Not just as an artist, but as a person, The freedom, experiencing different ways of life. It's so many things that enhance who I am as a person. So I think it's unfortunate that the experience was cut short by the pandemic, but, that experience was life-changing. Well, besides the artists I mentioned before, I would say artists like Yasin Bey, Lupe Fiasco, MF Doom, Rhapsody even, Black Thought, Kendrick Lamar. Those are the artists that amaze me, with their lyricism and their artistry. But I listen to all kinds of music, really. I have a huge music library, and my taste changes all the time. So, like, for instance, right now I'm listening to Mondre, I'm listening to Stevie Wonder, I'm listening to Daisaku Kume, I'm listening to Sun Ra, I'm listening to a lot. And I would say Sun Ra is probably one of my biggest influences. Yeah. I was born Sunday, September 10th, 1989. The sun, that's always been a part of me in some way. I came up with that 90s hip-hop school of thought, and I always had an alias when I MC'd. So some of my names throughout the years include like Sun Zulu, Black Sun, etc. Around 2012, I was at a dead end. I ended up in Chicago, by the grace of God, and I had an opportunity to create an album. It didn't exactly pan out the way I wanted it to, and after going to Sacramento, I ended up back in Baltimore. And I would say being on that path to reconnect with my truest self, and the reasons I even began to MC are how I came, into Sun Zulu, because when I got back to Baltimore, I created, the True and Living imprint, and the Sun Zulu name came really from my memories of my brother, DJing growing up. So Azra is my fourth independent release and my third full-length LP. It's, as Sun Zulu. It's the first time I've worked with Midas as Sun Zulu. We did create a lot of great music when I was the Black Sun, and that was the blog era of rap. So like 2009, 10, 11. That's when we first connected. That was through my friend McKeldon. So we were like 18, 19 at the time, and he was like, yo, it's this kid, he's like 16, and he remixed Jay-Z's American Gangster album, and it was hard. So, when I first listened, I remember the one song, I don't even remember the name of the song anymore, but I remember it was like this, I was like, I gotta work with this guy. And, ever since then, we were just working, but, when I went to Chicago, we did lose touch. And, this is the first time that we're reconnecting for music on this kind of a scale, so I would say it's an epic moment. Okay, they say in magic that Azra is a type of illusion that simulates levitation. So the appearance of floating in air to me symbolically represents my search to discover the American link to the Zulu through hip-hop. It was the basis of my senior capstone project at Morgan State University, and it's the main reason I traveled to South Africa in the spring. There are multiple cultures that have formed and spread with the Zulu name under their banner. And my process to discover the why behind this spread, not only freed my mind, it showed me how to be a better human and just how important music is in life. Even though, I've always known this, it just brought it to the forefront in a lot of ways. And my life is directly tied to the Zulu through this branching tree. I explore these themes behind identity and just living in a world that's hell-bent on preventing people like me from even knowing that, right? So this makes Azra an important statement that needs to be heard. That's how it's presented conceptually. For the most part, I keep it to myself, but I did get a few guests from all over the world. I have Graveyard Shifter, he's from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I have Sky Zoo from Brooklyn, New York. I have Nyota Parker from Cape Town, South Africa. But, for the most part, it's just Midas and I, exploring these concepts. He's with the beats and I'm with the rhymes. Azra is available on all streaming platforms. I would prefer, though, if you went to my website and got it directly from me. It's www.thesunzulu.com. Once again, it's www.thesunzulu.com. Because I received that support directly. Yeah, all right. So, this award for outstanding use of sound was issued, in July, earlier July, late June, by the Chesapeake branch of the Associated Press. It was for stories that I did while I was on WEAA 88.9 FM. I produced several on-air shorts, and I also produced and hosted their Strictly Hip Hop program in South Africa. And for someone who pretty much lives and breathes hip hop, to have, an institution like, the Associated Press recognize my efforts, it's a great start for sure. Right now, the Black Butterfly music video is next. We're going to re-release Azra on vinyl in the fall, and we're going to have new songs on it, but we need your support now to make that happen. And to support, buy the album. It's really that simple. If you love good music and you love music with a message and you want other people to hear music with a message, support the artists that are making it. So, it's that simple. Thank you, Jabu. Thank you, File Under Hip Hop, for the opportunity. Peace.